Hello, friend. This is Ryan Hicks of TalkToProfit.com, and today we're talking about something very, very, very important. It's that your life does not have to be hard. Many people have this idea, and it's taught in childhood, it's taught in schools, it's taught in culture, popular culture, that life is hard. There's all kinds of little sayings that go along with it, but the basic assumption that the average person is walking around with is that life is hard. Life is a set of experiences that are hard, that are not always what you want, that are suffering, that are misery. Maybe there's some respite here and there, but overall life is hard. And I'm telling you, that is a choice that you choose to believe that. And then you choose to experience that. Now, this will be hard for many people to take because they'll look back on their life and they'll see experiences, see events that happened that they didn't want. They didn't sit down and say, you know what, I would like this bad thing to happen to me. Of course they didn't say that. But they were walking in a faith that believed for that negative experience. Not necessarily that exact specific negative experience, but just negative experiences in general. You don't have to be believing for an exact experience. It's just that your overall vibration is one of negativity. It's one of believing in suffering. It's one of believing that life has to be hard, and that's what you experience. I want to encourage you in this. You must renew your mind to the truth that God is good. You can't go through life expecting things to be bad, expecting the worst, expecting that, well, there'll be some bad times, but maybe a couple good things will happen out of it. No, not even that. That may be more positive than the negative, just doom and gloom that many people are walking around believing, but it's still negative, and it doesn't have to be that way. Remember this, Jesus made this promise. He said that you can have whatsoever you say. Well, that's the first key. What are you saying? I hear people, and I was talking with somebody recently, and they were telling me, well, I just joke around about this, but I'm not really serious about it, because they were saying a bunch of negative things. Don't you understand that you will get whatsoever you say if you believe it? Now, they claim they didn't believe it, but everything about their life proved they actually believed those things that they were supposedly joking about. They were taking the actions and having the activity in line with someone who would believe for those negative experiences. This is something you have to get a hold of. What you speak is powerful. What you think is powerful. What you imagine in your mind is powerful. And it creates the life that you have, whether good or bad. Now, this is not so you can go back through your life dredging up bad experiences and beating yourself up for giving yourself that bad experience. That's not what this is about. This is about right here and now, into the future. You now focus on the things that you want. You now speak the things that you want. You don't say jokes about things you don't want to happen. You don't say foolish, jesting nonsense about, these bad things always happen to me. No, they don't. Stop speaking it, because as you speak it, you further reinforce that limiting belief in your mind. Now, limiting beliefs aren't even the challenge, because you can just simply start anew. You don't have to go dredge up limiting beliefs and try to get rid of each individual one as if that's somehow limiting you. You just stop acting in a way that is corresponding with that limiting belief. You stop speaking that limiting belief. You stop giving it any attention. Now, understand and be kind to yourself that these things, these beliefs you've picked up, weren't consciously picked up. You didn't sit down and ponder life and say, you know what, I'm going to believe in negativity. I'm going to believe in doom and gloom. I'm going to believe life's hard. I'm going to believe life is suffering. No one sat down and thought that. But that is where most people end up at. They may have varying degrees of it, with mixed in, sprinkled in with a little bit of positivity here and there. But overall, they still believe, even to get the positive experiences, that they have to go through some of the bad ones. And I'm telling you here and now, your life has already been filled with all those bad experiences that that are helpful in a sense because they show you the things you don't want. That's good. That's something useful and powerful you can get from that. But you don't have to keep going through negative experiences to figure out what you don't want. You already know. If you lived any amount of life, you already know, I don't like this thing. I don't like that thing. You don't need to go through it 55 more times to learn whether you like it or not. You already know that. So this is something that you have to get control of. Understand that God's given you this power. God is, in His grace, in His mercy, has given you the power to take control of your life and to have the issues of life be what you want them to be. But if you choose to not have a renewed mind, if you choose to just wallow around in the world's way of thinking, if you choose to keep babbling about the things you don't want, even if it's in jest, you are choosing a life that is contrary to what you want. Now, you can joke about something negative, some bad experience you're going to experience, and not experience that. And that is sometimes where people get tripped up because they think, well, I said this thing and it never happened to me. Of course it didn't. You didn't really have much faith for it. But what you did do in saying that was not have faith for that particular thing you were joking about. You just further reinforced your belief in negativity in your life. That you have to go through these bad experiences. That you have to have suffering. That life is just hard. That's where the problem comes in. Yes, you could joke and say something and not mean it really from your heart, not truly be believing for it, and not experience that specific thing that you're joking around about. But you are only making your life worse. You are only making things harder because you are reinforcing those negative limiting beliefs. You must stop speaking the things you don't want. Whether it's in jest, whether it's sincere, stop it. It doesn't make your life better. And the limited temporal pleasure you get from somebody laughing at some joke or something, or maybe you're trying to make a situation a little less tense, does more harm to you than it does any kind of good from the laugh. And in most cases, it's not even funny. People don't even laugh about it. It's just something slightly amusing. Is that what you want to go for in life? Make your life worse to be slightly amusing to someone else? Bring more negative, low vibration experiences into your life so you can have a little bit of humor that is not even really funny? And it only is detrimental to you and, importantly, to the hearer. Because you're not leaving them feeling edified. You've reinforced in their minds as well that belief in negativity, that belief in lack and limitation. I know when I've heard people say things like that, I immediately cancel it out in my mind. I don't receive that. And I'll tell them. I've had somebody tell me, well, you know, it sure is hard getting old. I said, speak for yourself. As I've aged, I've gotten better. You speak for yourself. You walk around feeling miserable. You walk around feeling old. You walk around feeling like every year that's added to the calendar is another year where you're getting worse and worse. I don't care if you're in your 20s or 30s. There's people in their 20s who are acting like they're getting old and they're falling apart already. Well, part of that may be because the diet they're eating and the low vibration mental diet they have that is just doing a number on them and harming them tremendously. This is why you have to speak words of faith, words of life. Speak forth those things that you do want. And you can have that life that is not one of suffering. It's not one of misery. It's a glorious life. It's a life that Jesus came to give you. He came to give you life and that more abundantly. And that's what you should be experiencing right here and now. But you are going to have to be a person of discipline, a person of character and substance who takes up the cause within yourself to believe, to speak, to think, to visualize only those things that you want. And never let another day go by when you're wallowing around, talking about, joking about, thinking about, or visualizing the things you don't want. And that, my friend, is how you will get the good life and start living a life that goes from glory to glory, blessing to blessing, and prosperity to prosperity. My friend, I pray this is a blessing for you. May God bless you richly.